Alrighty, here we have Han Solo frozen in Carbonite. Iconic image from Star Wars. This is not mine, an acquaintance gave me this. He wants me to attempt to install an LED to get this effect above, shining down. And I may see what I can do about also getting this effect. Sorry about the reflection there. This effect of the red shining up from the bottom. You can see that the model is painted, kind of graduating from yellow to red. But I don't know, I've got some fiber optics. I wouldn't mind getting in there, see if we can get some upshine. I've never messed with fiber optics yet, but it's something I'd like to try. I'm not sure whether I'm going to try it first on his model or not. And unfortunately, the model itself doesn't have much real estate. Obviously, you don't want to change anything on the front or the sides, and the back just doesn't have any much of a ledge, or you really don't want a separate power supply, and I just don't know how I'm going to do this yet. So as long as nothing can be seen from the front except for maybe the light that comes up and over, we'll have to see. Let me give it a think and see what we can come up with. Okay, so after giving it some thought, this is a numbered piece, and in order, you can see that right there. Oh, let me get it in the light. Here we go. Yeah. So in order to use the fiber optic cable that I have, which I have plenty of, this is pretty much it here. I would have to drill scores of holes from the underside and pop them up down here where you couldn't see them. This kit came with a little drill bit right here. This is the fiber optic it came with, and I've got a whole roll of it I bought for another project, but it would require me to drill all kinds of holes through the bottom here and then channel them through and get them to a power source, and it's just not practical. I did not want to destroy the project like that. So what I elected to do was come up with a separate stand that would hold everything. These are some LEDs and some mounts that I had from another project. 1/4 inch copper. These are red, and what I did was I took a 90-degree, let me see here, I took a 1/4 inch 90-degree, you can see that there, that I bought for another project. I'll quit saying that. And I cut it 45 so that, if you'll see here, they can kind of rotate and shine at each other, which I'm hoping will kind of deflect the light this way and this way rather than out directly at the viewer, kind of giving it more of a glow. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. But anyway, here we have a gear from a ATV winch. This is a camshaft from a Predator go-kart motor. And this is all going to be held together with neodymium magnets. And kind of like that. Because as you know, LEDs always go bad. So you want to be able to access them easy. All of these copper joints here, I'm not going to solder. I might hot glue them a little bit so that they stay put. But and then the 9-volt, I'm going to mount the switch here. I might put the switch back here where it's more out of view, I don't know. And then the top is going to be held on with magnets as well. And then I've also got to bring the overhead light out. On the box, you'll notice that the light is kind of offset. If you'll notice here, see how it's kind of offset to his left, your right, and casts a shadow. I don't know if our LEDs are that bright. Should I put 2 over the top or just the 1? I don't know. See what we come up with. Okay, so this is the camshaft out of the Predator motor. The hole in the top only goes down maybe 3/16 of an inch. Yeah, it might be 1/4. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get that to focus. And then the same thing on the bottom. It doesn't go all the way through, but I need it to go all the way through if I'm going to get the light shaft to come out of the top and over the model. I could come out of the side and come all the way up, but it would just be too cool to come out of the top of this. So I'm going to attempt to use the vintage drill press I got from a welder here in town. And if you're wondering, the washers are at the bottom because this is going to be too off. So I'm hoping that with the aid of the washers to stabilize and some thick gloves, I can drill a hole clear through it with the aid of oil. So let's hope for the best. Okay, well, it went really well. Went very well, as a matter of fact. I think that will be about perfect. Clean it up, and I don't think I'm going to run brass all the way through it, but at least that'll allow me to get electrical up here rather than going around it, which would have really kind of gave it a funny look. So those washers are stuck on there now. I'm gonna have to wait for that metal to cool off. I'll tell you, the physics of heat and thermodynamics are pretty interesting. Alrighty, let's move on. Okay, this is what is called a reed switch. If you want to see the size of that in comparison to a 9-volt, I bought you can buy these, they are switches. I bought this one, pack of 10, obviously from China. These are normally open until you introduce a magnetic field to them in the form of any kind of magnet, and then it closes the switch. When I ordered them, they said they were switchable, normally open or normally closed, but what I want is normally open with the field introduced and closed when you remove the field. That way, when you remove the magnet, it closes the circuit, lights come on. So I don't know, the other option for that rather than incorporating the reed switch is to go with the micro switch that came with the LED kit. So in order to incorporate the switch, I would just have to cut out some of the metal somewhere and mount it, come up with screws small enough. But it would be cool if I could incorporate this reed switch. So that's what we're working on now. Okay, and there it is. Thankfully, I did absolutely nothing to the model. It is numbered, it is limited, and it is completely intact. However, what I did do was I built a base that it would sit in front of. So like we said before, this, let me see here. This is gearing from an ATV winch, 1/4 inch copper fittings, cut at 45-degree angles so that we'd hopefully get more of a glow effect. This is an exhaust pipe reducer. This is a cam from a Predator go-kart motor. And we have more 1/4 inch pipe, T-fitting, LEDs and whatnot. I did not go with the reed switch. It was the logistics of getting that to work was just a little bit too, so I did go with the on-off switch on the back. So when turned on, up, they glow red down here. We have the illumination up here, and we just have a flashing light in the back just for a good measure. So let me get this set in place and we'll see how it looks. Oh, I did not set all these joints because well, I'll show you when I get it set in front. Obviously the replacement of the LED lights later was a factor. Okay, so this is with it set in place. Of course, let me turn these lights off here. I know we got daylight behind us, but okay. So from the front, you can't even tell it's back there. The only thing you can see is and that's what we get. Now if you'll notice, the positioning of this depends on where the shadow falls on Han Solo. Right in there. And then the LEDs on the bottom. It looks like it's a lot brighter, and it is to a degree, but on the camera that's a lot brighter than it is. I did get a better glow effect down there. So get down here, you can see those, and they're way back. They're tucked way back under here where and then we got the yellow flasher back there where you can't see, but if somebody sees it from the side, it adds a degree of interest. Plus, see if I can hold that. All right. I hope he's happy with it, because that is just about the best I can do. Let's get this in a darker room and see what it looks like. Another thing that I forgot to mention is all of these components are held together with neodymium magnets, because this is packed with the electronics, the battery, the switch, the basically this is the junction box. So if you'll notice, if I lift right here, we have 3 really big neodymium magnets holding it there, and then up under the lip, every one of these are neodymium magnets. Which allows you to pick it up and move it, and then you can just pull it apart whenever you got to service it, replace a battery. All you have to do is pull the top off, the wire's long enough to set this down, replace the 9-volt. And there it is. Now the reflection on the back won't be as bad sitting in a room. I just came in the bathroom because I knew it'd be dark in here, but you can see we got a nice glow down here from the red, and when you move the light, it casts whatever shadow you want on Han. And when you come to the side, and that's it, completed.